Hello again, Bear Creek. Wanted to come to you today with the last Headmaster update video of the year to celebrate what a year it has been and to say thank you to the many groups who have made our mission continue even in this pandemic, even in remote learning. First of all, thank you to our donors for your gifts to the annual fund and to the auction that have made remote learning possible and have helped many of our families to make it through the pandemic. To our volunteers, to the many people behind the scenes who have worked so hard to make remote learning a reality and have also worked so hard to support our community in the midst of this pandemic. Of course, to the faculty and to the staff for the many hours put in training, going about meeting with students and making the remote learning experience something that is nurturing as well as high quality. To our parents, I want to thank you for all the work that you have done to support your students, to support this community in the midst of our remote learning, and of course to the students for their resiliency, for their enthusiasm, for the joy that they bring every day, even though they're far away and through a screen. I don't know if you're like me, but I've been checking my phone a lot more and been making graphs in Excel to track data, and something struck me the other day about all of that I was working really hard to control things that are largely out of my control. And it reminded me that as human beings, that is often our nature, to control things that are out of our control, to try to work our way into things and work our way into righteousness. But the scriptures and the gospel tell us something very different that I would love to share with you at the end of this year. In the book of Galatians, Paul says, "Yet we know that a person is not justified by works of the law, but through faith in Christ Jesus. So we also have believed in Christ Jesus in order to be justified by faith in Christ and not by the works of the law, because by the works of the law no one will be justified." And a little bit later in that same book he says, "I've been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, for if justification were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose." And I think that's a good reminder of us of the great work that Christ did on the cross on our behalf, so that we do not live by the law, we do not live by controlling things that are out of our control like a pandemic, but that our faith and our hope is in Christ and the work that he has done for us. So when we think about the mission of the Bear Creek School and the unique circumstances of this year, it's good for us to remember that it is Christ who is working in us to help us and to help our students become the individual that God intends. I hope you have a great summer, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall.